lots of thoughts trying to come out at the same time. But,
is Trump's tariff U-turn again a sign of the decline of the US global power? Is it the fall of Western civilization as we know it? Watch till the end of this video clip and we will go into it into more detail.
The bond markets finally blew the whistle on Donald Trump's game of chicken with the stock markets. First, they were down, then they were up. We've had a rout, a U-turn and a rebound. It's all been a bit breathless. So let's take a minute to find our bearings. This is the NASDAQ, one of the key indices on the US stock market. It's technology heavy and it was hammered hardest by Trump's tariffs policy. After his Liberation Day announcement, it sank 4.5% and it continued to plummet over the coming days. The Dow Jones and the S&P 500, well, they've been on a similar journey. Trillions of dollars were wiped off the US stock market in a matter of days. It was the sharpest downturn since the pandemic. And it went on like this for a week before the president finally hit pause on Wednesday afternoon. And he hinted at his plan a few hours earlier, posting on social media that this is a great time to buy. Well, the administration is now facing calls for an investigation into insider trading because of what unsurprisingly followed. Stocks surged, the NASDAQ up 12.16%, its largest one-day jump in 24 years. So some relief in the markets. But by Thursday, the US stock markets were faltering, the NASDAQ giving up some of those gains, a reminder that Trump's tariff agenda is still weighing on markets, and he's done nothing to settle the uncertainty, damaging investor confidence. And we can see that playing out in other markets across the world too. The FTSE up sharply on Thursday, but giving up some of those gains by the afternoon. And in China, the Shanghai Composite Index still down 3.9%. since Liberation Day. And trouble still in the bond markets. They've played a big role here. Investors started dumping bonds at the start of the week, causing yields or government borrowing costs to soar. It was the highest three-day climb since the pandemic. The pressure on Donald Trump became unsurmountable. A U-turn followed. But look at this. Bond markets are still circumspect. Yields have come down, but they're still higher than they were a few weeks ago. So the volatility may have eased, but markets are still stressed. This isn't going to be smooth sailing.
Donald Trump's recent U-turn on tariffs isn't just another case of chaotic policymaking, it's symptomatic of something much bigger. It is the steady decline of US dominance and with it the long, slow collapse of Western hegemony. If I've said that incorrectly, do tell me in the comments. For decades, even centuries, Western powers have dominated global trade, politics and finance, with the US taking the lead since the end of World War II. But those days are fading very fucking fast. Trump's original plan was to slap tariffs on almost every country exporting to the US, but when the markets panicked, with stock prices plunging and US government bonds being dumped in a fire sale, he had to back down. The plan quickly shifted to a 10% across-the-board import tax pending negotiations. China, however, got hit a hell of a lot harder. 125%, I think it's now 145%, but since the recording of this video, it may have increased to 200% for all we know. Effectively, a trade embargo on the world's second largest economy. Now remember, tariffs don't punish other countries, they punish American companies and their consumers. These taxes are paid by importers in the US, who usually just pass the costs on to customers. This means higher prices, less spending and job losses. Tariffs are basically just another economic own goal, but if Trump realises this, it would be a fucking miracle. Of course, Trump has always been obsessed with tariffs. He's called them the most beautiful word and has long claimed that they will bring manufacturing jobs back home. But in reality, they only deepen inequality and accelerate the very economic decline that he wants to reverse. And it gets worse. It might also just be corrupt. Senator Chris Murphy raised serious questions about insider trading shortly before Trump announced a 90-day suspension on the tariffs. He told his supporters that it was a good time to buy. Markets rebounded quickly. Anyone with advanced knowledge of the move could have made a fortune, so who knew which one of Trump's friends or donors at Mar-a-Lago profited from inside information? It is corruption at its finest. And economists have rightly called it batshit insane. The US isn't doing the world a favour by having the dollar as a reserve currency. it's benefiting massively from it. It allows the US to run endless deficits and live beyond its means, while other countries have to tighten their belts. Yet somehow, the Trump camp wants those countries to send money to the US Treasury, as if they should pay for the privilege of propping up the American economy. It's a fantasy, and it's a deeply dishonest one. And while the US fumbles, China is quietly gaining ground. Every major crisis in the 21st century, from the Iraq War to the 2008 crash to COVID, has chipped away at Western power and opened new opportunities for China to step in as a more stable, consistent global actor. Even the collapse of US aid leaves a void for China to fill, and they're eager to fill it. What we're witnessing here is not just about tariffs or Trump or one bad policy. We are watching the fall of the West play out in real time. The economic order is cracking, military dominance has faltered, and any of the moral high ground has long since crumbled under the weight of historic and ongoing injustice. So the real question is, what replaces it? Will we see a new era? Will we see a new era of international cooperation and justice, or will it just be more chaos? Well, while Trump is still in charge, I'm going to go for more chaos, and more nationalism, and more authoritarianism. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. As always, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Good day, sir!
You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.